Welcome back to the Shankly Sessions, everybody. This is your Liverpool versus Norwich FA Cup match reaction and player ratings. Sorry for the sore throat, absolutely dying with a sore throat at the moment, but still testing negative, so all good at the moment. Liverpool 2, Norwich 1. Um, Workman-like performance. Um, Not sure what I was going to expect out of, but just get through to the quarterfinals. Another one out of the way, especially on the back of a great win in the Carabao Cup final. Klopp rang the changes, 10 different changes from the starting line for the Carabao Cup final. So it was going to be a little bit different. Again, I've spoken about that midfield. For me, that midfield of Curtis Jones, Henderson, and Ox, for me, just doesn't work. I don't like to see that midfield. I don't know what it is about it. I can't put my finger on it, but there's a kind of a, I don't know what it is about it. I don't think there's enough um, balance within it to progress the team forward the way I think it should. But the goals, Minamino, of course, Taki absolutely having, I think he's having a great season in terms of the amount of appearances he's had and stuff like that. And we'll get into it later in the match reaction. But he crops up on 27, great assist from Origi, great footwork to spray it to him, and puts it away on 27. Also on 39, an absolute thunderbolt to finish as well. And of course, Lucas Rupp on 76 with an assist from Sargent to make the last 15 minutes interesting. In terms of the subs, Elliott on for Jones on 46. I thought Jones had put in a decent shift, but Elliott came on to bring a little bit of energy. Morton came on for Hendo on the 61st minute, and that's one we're going to be talking about because I think that's kind of where we came out of the game when Hendo left the game and Morton came in. Diaz on for Jota at 84, and obviously Mane on for Origi on 84 as well. As I said, 10 changes made to the lineup from the Carabao Cup final, so it was going to be a little bit indifferent of a performance. Match kind of felt like, didn't feel like a fifth round FA Cup tie. It felt like more, I don't know, nearly like a training session or something like that. I thought once we went 2-0 up, I thought the crowd went flat. But I was delighted to see Taki obviously score the 2 goals, one of which was the 750th goal of Jurgen Klopp's tenure. Absolute great figure there. Milner, absolute workhorse all game, absolutely brilliant. I thought Curtis Jones was solid. In terms of Kanate, growing in stature all the time, and he's definitely the heir to Matup's throne, without a shadow of a doubt. Tomiskas, the Greek scouser, very solid, but not, he hasn't played in a little while, so not at his absolute best. But again, probably a hangover from the Carabao Cup final, because if there was anyone celebrating the win of that Carabao Cup final, he was to the forefront of that. I'm looking at the corners at the moment. We had 11 corners last night, and I'd like to see the corners produce more rewards. I think with the powerhouses that we have that go up there, I think we should be reaping more rewards off our corners. I don't think there's enough attacking mobility in the box at times. I think at times we look a little bit flat-footed in the box, albeit a changed lineup last night. But I think if you produce 11 corners, you should at least want a goal or two out of that, shouldn't you? Minimum. Joe Gomez put in a shift, but I've yet to see a real dominant performance from Joe this year. Like when he's come in, I want to see that Joe Gomez that I used to see with Virgil van Dijk, who takes control of a game and nearly looks like a captain on the pitch. But we haven't seen that yet. And I'm just wondering, with Joe being fourth choice now at this stage, I wonder, is he potentially looking at a situation where he feels like he might have to move on? Or has Klopp got other plans for him? Maybe in the hole, we've spoken about it before, maybe shifting over maybe to the right back position, and maybe an idea of pushing Trent more forward. I've spoke about that in the past, and a number of channels have as well. So it'll be interesting to see if that's what happens. In terms of Minamino, we have to talk about Minamino. 10 goals so far this season. He's averaging a goal every 84 minutes, which is basically a goal a game for what he has played. And it's an outstanding return. 10 goals for a guy who's basically our 7th choice attacker. It's an incredible return. Regardless of where he scores the goals and in the cup competitions and stuff like that, 10 goals is 10 goals. And especially from that position. And again, himself, like Origi, is a guy that I would say he's kind of a poacher and kind of a confidence player. And I think if we utilize him a little bit more and make him feel more part of that first team, I think we might get more from him. I haven't given up on him yet. I think there might be an opportunity there for him to turn it around slightly. But I mean, when you're up against the likes of Mane, Firmino, Salah, Lucas Diaz, Jota, Origi, you know what I mean? It's tough to get into that team. Like it's an outstanding 6, 7 players playing up front for us as attackers. For Norwich, I thought the introducing the Sargent was pivotal. I think he was brilliant when he came on in the league game as well. Looks like a boy with plenty of energy and certainly changed the dynamic of Norwich in the way that they play. It's kind of weird that he doesn't start, but he came on for 46 minutes and changed the dynamic in the game. And I think his introduction into the game, coupled with Hendo going off and Tyler Morton coming on. I thought Tyler didn't have a great night when he came on. I was expecting him to come on and grab hold of that midfield a little bit, but he didn't really kind of flatter to deceive. And that's when Norwich kind of got a bit of a stranglehold in the game. And that's what kind of led to the Roop goal. So I was a little bit concerned about that. 16 shots with a return of 2 goals, I suppose, needs to be better as well. We've spoken about being more clinical in front of goal, getting more shots on target, but being putting the opportunities away. We've got a massive month coming up with massive fixtures, no less starting on Saturday evening with West Ham. So if we want to keep this title race going, we're going to have to be more clinical in front of goal. We won't always get these amount of chances that we get against the likes of a Norwich. No disrespect to them, but we're up against West Ham on Saturday evening, who are chasing the top 4 spot and who also give us a right scene to down in the London Stadium. So we owe them one. So I'd like a little bit more for that. But what I would say, we're through to the quarterfinals now of the FA Cup. The draw is tomorrow evening. We've won foot in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Carabao Cup is in the bag. And we're very much in a title race at the moment. So it's on to the Hammers now Saturday evening under the lights at Anfield. And let's see, can we pop a little bit more pressure on Man City? In terms of the player ratings, we'll go through them quickly because, again, it's such a changed lineup. And it was kind of like, it just felt like it needed to be a workman performance just to get it out of the way. A bit of a hangover from the Carabao Cup. Could have been an absolute banana of a game, really, but a banana peel of a game, but we got through it anyway, and that's the main thing. I thought Alisson, give him a 7 out of 10. I thought some of his kicking in the first half was a little bit wayward, but I thought that save that he made from Jonathan Rowe was brilliant to deny the equaliser. The last thing we needed last night was extra time and penalties. Milner, I gave an 8 to. Absolutely brilliant. Not always known for being comfortable in that back position. That right back position, but did really well tonight. More so, he wasn't up against a speed merchant and stuff like that, but really, really good. I mean, for a guy of his age, he just puts in an absolute shift. Konate, I gave an 8. He's been described by some people as looking like a dad who turned up to play with some kids at some points, but he's just a beast among men, really, isn't he, Konate? I mean, the size of him and the stature and stuff like that and all, and he's well able to move for it as well. But yeah, give him an 8. Joe Gomez, I gave a 7 to. I thought Joe had a reasonable game, but again, you would expect if you come in and you get an opportunity like that, you want to be given more than a reasonable game. Small little wayward crossfield pass at the end of the first half, but you wouldn't really dwell on that really. But I thought he could have done better for the goal. I thought he could have come out and he could have blocked it down a little bit better. I thought he was a little bit slow to react. Just a small thing really, but with Joe, I think if you're 4th choice in there in that central defence situation, when you do get an opportunity to come in, you have to impose yourself on the game and give us some sort of moments that we can take from it to remember. Costas, I gave a 7 to. I thought he was solid enough, but I just thought he needed to do a bit more. He wasn't on his actual A game, but gave a solid performance out there. 7 for Costas. Jordan, I gave an 8 to. I thought he was fantastic in the first half. Absolutely put in a shift, harrying passing, neat little flicks, tackles up high upfield, kept the press going, kept the motion going. I just thought he was brilliant all night. So I gave Henderson an 8 for that first half performance. Obviously came off in the second half, and the change for Tyler Morton actually changed the dynamic of the game. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, they gave a 6-2, and to be honest, I'm probably being generous at that. I thought he had no impact in the game at all. Bar that strike that hit the post. But he needs to be delivering a lot more. I'm not sure. The jury's kind of out on Ox at the moment. Um, Sometimes he can look sublime, other times he just flatters to deceive. And I just think this is one of these nights. This is a game that should have been tailor made for Ox to come in and lay down a marker, but failed again to do it. So I'm not sure how Klopp feels and how his patience will be going into the summer. Curtis Jones gave an A2. Had a great 45 minutes. Absolutely brilliant. We always talk about Curtis Jones. He's so positive in his play and in his attacking and stuff like that. Um, and sometimes his flicks and his skills and his movement and his thinking is sometimes even ahead of the players who are playing ahead of him. So they're not sometimes look like they're on the same wavelength. But a great first half put in for Curtis. Taking Minamino, man of the match, gave him an 8, took his 2 goals really, really well. And it's just, he loves playing against Norwich as well, so but it's an interesting one from him. I mean, as we said earlier in the match reaction, I mean, 10 goals so far, averaging 84 goals a game, 750 goal under Klopp's tenure, that hitting that marker, so that's fantastic. But I don't know, just get him to feel more part of the team, get him more involved and stuff like that. I think as a poacher, he will reap goals for you, Divock Origi gave a 7-2. Nice little assist for Taki there, where he got the ball out from under his feet, put it to the left, and Taki buried the first opportunity. Sometimes just got beaten to the ball a couple of times and stuff like that, but overall, a reasonable performance. Again, Divock sometimes reminds me a little bit like Ox when he comes in and gets the opportunity, because it's a minefield there at the moment in terms of getting into that front line. You really have to put in a performance and put it out there to, turn Klopp's eye to go and turn around. He offers me something different. But again, like Minamino, need to keep him involved. We're going to need every player in the run in. Like, we're fighting on all 3 fronts left now. We've already won the Carabao Cup. So we're going to need all these guys fit and healthy and available, because we are going to pick up a few knocks on the way. There's I think 22 games left in the season if we go all the way in terms of the quadruple. So that's a lot of games to put in the next 2 months. So we're going to need every player available. Jota, I gave a 7-2. Workman-like, but really didn't, reap the rewards that he normally wouldn't put himself in there. I mean, obviously he was out with the knock and he came back into the Carabao Cup as a sub. Very unlucky for the shot as well. It was a clear handball. VAR probably need to come out with another apology. I think that situation with VAR is just getting worse and worse. It's just, last night was a clear handball off that shot. And not only a clear handball, but it probably would have resulted in a penalty. And they probably would have given the penalty to Taki Minamino to get his hat-trick. So yeah, it could have been influential on the game, especially if they had have equalised towards the end there with Becker making that save. It could have been more of a talking point, but the fact that we won 2-1, it's not going to be as much of a talking point. But it was a horrendous decision. I mean, it was a straight up handball. In terms of the subs, Harvey came on for Jones on 46, give him a 7. On the break, showed some great touches, but that was really it. Showed his influence. Tyler Morton came on for Henderson, gave him a 6. Neat and tidy, but needs to just up it a little bit. Once we lost Hendo, that impetus in the midfield sort of left us, Sadio Mane came on for Origi. The question is really for Sadio, is he officially our centre forward now? It's hard to know, but didn't give him a rating. Wasn't enough minutes really. Same for Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz came on for Jota on 83. 2 opportunities cut in and hit moments. Definitely goals are coming for this boy. He's a very exciting talent. Has hit the ground running at Liverpool, has entered the squad seamlessly, and looks an absolute baller of a player. I think he's going to have a huge future at Liverpool, and he is going to score bag loads of goals. Well, folks, this has been your Shankly session. Sorry for the throat, absolutely killing me today. If you want to contact the show, it's at Session Shankly on Twitter. You'll get us on Instagram and Facebook, The Upper Tier. We're on TikTok, The Upper Tier Podcast. You can also contact us on The Upper Tier Podcast at gmail.com. Audio versions of the show will be on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And we will be back later on in the day, tomorrow, with a West Ham preview coming up to us on Saturday. Absolutely vital game. Until next time, folks, an absolute pleasure.